what's going on election-wise, it appears to me that the language of politicians is changing to like more of a fake data that they put in forward, more of a fake ideas that they put in forward that has nothing to do with reality, right? So Paul Ryan can come and say, we're going to do 20% across-board tax. And I'm wondering if he can tell us how this language has changed to be just has nothing to do with people on the ground or realities of what we're dealing with.
It's interesting. I was just talking about that with the dean of a law school, and he said that there are no standards anymore for truth-telling, that anybody can say anything in politics, and well, that's just their opinion. And it could be completely false, like Saddam Hussein having weapons of mass destruction, which Bush and Cheney used to blow apart Iraq with all the devastation there and on our soldiers. Chuck Lewis, who started a investigative group in Washington called the Center for Public Integrity, he's doing a book called The Future of Truth. So there, in other words, there needs to be third parties, independent third parties to go right in and fact check these people. The Washington Post has a very good person. He does it almost every day. His name is Glenn Kessler, and he gives the Pinocchio Nose Award to politicians that basically give out false statements or lie.
So you mentioned third party, and I'm very much interested in that. Let me start with the idea of the Green Party, a party that you ran for 2000. It has not been able, since 2000 at least, or 1996, it has not been able to get 5% of voters to register for it in order to be on a ballot from day one, so they don't have to struggle. What attributes to that?
It hasn't attracted organizational skills, fundraising skills, and person-to-person persuasion skills. It has attracted often people who are very upset properly with the state of the country and world and form their own introverted group. They don't, what they used to say in other contexts, proselytize. They're not aggressive. They draw a line between them, the Greens, and other people. Even though they don't say that, there is no excuse why the Green Party, after all these years, isn't much bigger than it is and have many more candidates running for local, state, and national office. They're still about where they were in 1996. They aren't even where they were in 2000.
So, but is it really just money? Because I spoke and interviewed Jill Stein as well, and that's what she says. She says we need money.
No, it's not just money. It's money and organizers who know how to use the money, and advocates who know how to use the money. In other words, money buys the skills. They just don't have organizing and fundraising skills. We're not talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, but I don't think the Green Party is going to raise $1 million for Jill Stein, going all over the country on 42 state ballots. Disgraceful.
It's very disappointing. Yeah. So let's come back to this third party ideas again, and there's Socialist and Freedom Party. Socialist Freedom Party USA, USA Socialist Party, USA Socialism. They have it many ways, and these are all believe in the same thing, but they never get together on the table to talk about this and how to like come to be one.
Even if they did, it wouldn't amount to much because they're all underfunded, underorganized, and they don't have the right strategies. I mean, for example, they should start running candidates in local offices, in towns and villages where there often is nobody running for these city councils or boards of education. I think the Green Party in 2008 had 200 people running for local offices in the whole country out of 2.5 million elective offices. So they need dynamic organizational leaders, fundraising leaders. They need to be much more persuasive with young people, enlist them in the ranks. Now, to be sure, they have very serious obstacles in the structure of the electoral system. It's a winner-take-all system, so proportional representation doesn't allow. I mean, in Germany, if you get over 5% as a Green Party, you get over 5% of the parliament. Here you can get 48%, nothing. So that discourages people. So we need to still get, as you say, to at least a 5% level, where you then get on the debates and things like that.
And one last question. What do you think the points of unity should be? You know, amongst all these green radicals, socialists, anarchists.
You start with redirections that a majority of the people already support. Living wage, full Medicare for all, those have huge support. 70–75% of people support a $10 minimum wage, which would be what it was in 1968, adjusted for inflation. No big deal. So that's what they start. You don't start with such fundamental changes that people don't know what you're talking about, and if they did, they'd think you would destabilize the whole society. There are plenty of major improvements that are supported by a majority of the people. Majority want a tough crackdown on corporate crime. They want to end the bailouts and the giveaways, liberals and conservatives. They hate these wars abroad. Over 70% of people want the soldiers back from Afghanistan yesterday. So there are a lot of, and I put this in my book, 17 Solutions, because that's where you start. That's where you get more and more people supporting you, more and more people with their feet on the ground saying, yeah, this is really common sense. We can do it. We have the resources. We got to take this country back from the 1%, put it in the hands of the 99%.
So you're saying not to go ideological, but just go on the issues on the ground.
Yeah, if you go ideological, it's alien to people, it scares people, it's too abstract, it's seen as too risky. But if you go right down, hey, you work in Walmart, shouldn't you make as much as workers made in 1960? Of course. You start out with $10, and you go from there. Do you think you should repair the schools and clinics and water systems and public transit and the dams and the public building? Of course we should. Highways, bridges. That redirects money from the military budget, which is destroying highways and bridges abroad.
And last question, your prediction for the election, who do you favor?
Unless there's some gaffes or something, it looks like Obama is going to win, but he may not win the Congress back because he's not campaigning with members of the Democratic Party in Congress. He never mentioned them in his speech at the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte. So if the Republicans control Congress or control the House, he can't get anything done. You begin to wonder whether he wants something to do. I mean, he can't just run to re-elect himself. He's got to run with the congressional Democrats.
That's
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.